Okay, so this is 4.4 that we're going over. And what it is we're just solving equations that have rational expressions. So that have like fractions in them. Um, so all you do here is you just find a common denominator for all of them. And once you do that, you can just kind of ignore the denominator and then just set an equation for the numerator for the top. So just really quick for this example one. So they're finding a common denominator, so an LCD, and we've got 3x, which I'm going to write as 3 times x. They've got 6, which I'm going to write as 2 times 3. And then they've got x, which I can just write as x. So this has an x and this has an x. So this one's in need of an x. So this one right here, well, you're going to times by x. Then we've got a 3 right here and a 3 right here. So we now need to times this one by 3. So this one right here needs to be times by 3. And then what we have left is this 2. So we need to times this by 2 and this by 2. So we need times this times by 2. And then what else? The x multiplied by 2. So if we look here, they're timesing this by 2, timesing this by x, and timesing this by 6. So our LCD here, if we just look at my orange circle is x, purple circle 3, blue circle is 2. So that gives me 6x. So that's their denominator. And then if I do it right here, so I times 2 times 1, which is 2 over 6x, plus 5 times x, so that's 5x over our LCD, which is 6x, which equals 2 times 3 times 2, which gives me 6, 12, 12 over our common denominator. So now all you need to do is just ignore those, since they've all got a common denominator, and you can just rewrite it as 2 plus 5x equals 12. And now you're just going to solve this. So I'm going to subtract 2. So I'm left with 5x equals 10. Divide by 5. Divide by 5. So x equals 2 is my answer. This is saying that you need to make sure, because we have a fraction, a rational equation, we need to make sure that it's allowed in the domain. So basically, I just can't have a 0 in any of these domains. And if I check this 3 times 2, that doesn't give me 0. That won't ever be 0. And x equals 2. So 2 is in the bottom, so that's not 0. So we're good. Yes, okay. So this problem is very similar. So I'm just going to do it really quick. I look here and I'm going to see that my LCD is 2x. And the reason being is that I can times this thing by 2 and this thing by times by x. And that will give me in the bottom, it'll both give me 2x, which is what I have here. So I'm just going to rewrite this as 2 times 1 is 2 divided by 2 times x is 2x minus x times 1 is x, x times 2 is 2x. And then I'm not going to do anything to that last one. So I've got a common denominator, so I'm just going to cross those all out. And I'm just going to look at the top. So now to solve this, I'll just subtract 2. So I have negative x is equal to 5. And then remember, this is like there's a 1 right here. So to get rid of that negative, I just divide by negative 1. Divide by negative 1. So that gives me x equals negative 5. And then I will just check to make sure that none of these denominators give me 0, which they don't. Okay, so for this one, it's the same process. You can kind of go through and see how they got this as their LCD and everything. But what it comes down to is they're left with this and this. And it looks like if you plug in this value, oh, I see what they're saying. Okay, so you can plug in both values and see that your denominator won't be 0. So that's going to be your answer. Just the same thing. And you can kind of walk through it and see. Got bugs everywhere. Okay, so for example 4, for my LCD, for my first one, I have 3. For my second one, I have x minus 2. So I've got this 3 because nothing's the same in both. So I'm going to have to times this whole thing by 3. And then this right here by x minus 2. So I'm left with 5 times x minus 2 over 3 times x minus 2 equals 3 times x over 3 times x minus 2. So now I'm just going to cancel those out. And I'm just going to look at the top. So I'm going to actually multiply this out. So 5x minus 10 equals 3x. So I'm going to subtract 3x. Actually, let me do something first. 5x minus 10 equals 3x. I'm going to add 10 over first. Add 10 over. So I've got 5x equals 3x plus 10. Now I'm going to subtract 3x. Subtract 3x. So I've got 2x equals 10. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. X equals 5. And I'm through solving that really fast. If it doesn't make sense to you, just pause it and you can solve it yourself. They're just those equations we did at the beginning. Just get x on one side, everything else on the other. Okay, so this is going to be the same type of thing. For this one, to find the LCD, I see that this fraction here has got 8 minus 6, and this here has got 8 minus 6. So I'm missing this 5 is going to be like it's divided by 1. So the LCD is going to be a minus 6. And all I need to do is times this right here by a minus 6. I'm hoping by now this step is a little easier. If it's not, let me know and I can try and do another video to explain. But once you get that, you're just kind of multiplying it out. Once you get to here, you're just going to kind of cross out that denominator and then just look at the top and solve from there. For this one, you get a equals 6. And when you plug it back into here, you can see that 6 minus 6 equals 0. So we actually can't have that solution. So the answer to this one is that there is no solution. So that's the point in checking. Okay. For example 6, I'm going to do the LCD up here. So I have x plus 1, which I'm just going to leave as x plus 1. I have x squared minus 1, which I can write as x plus 1, x minus 1. And then I've got x minus 1, which I'm just going to keep as x minus 1. So if you just kind of look here, you can see that this right here is going to be our LCD. What I'm going to need to do is times this one by x minus 1 and this one by x plus 1. And then they're all going to be the same. So this right here is going to be times by x plus 1. And this is going to be times by x minus 1. So when I do that, I'm going to have 2 times x minus 1 over LCD, which is x minus 1, x plus 1, plus 5. I didn't need to times that by anything, so I'm just going to leave it the same. I'm just going to change the denominator to that though. And then this 1 times x plus 1, so it's just x plus 1 divided by our LCD. So I've got my denominators the same, so I'm just going to cross them out. And I'm just going to look at the top. So I'm going to multiply this 2 out. So I'll have 2x minus 2 plus 5 equals x plus 1. And then I'm just going to rewrite this combining like terms to be 2x negative 2 plus 5 is plus 3. And then that equals x plus 1. So now I'm just solving. So I'm going to bring subtract 3 over, subtract 3 over. So I'm left with 2x equals x minus 2. I'm going to subtract x. So I'm just left with x equals negative 2. Let me make sure I did that right. Yes. So that's our answer. If I check, it's not going to give me 0 in any of the denominators. So that's going to be our solution. This is going to be similar. You're just going to have to factor this out to find the LCD. So I'm not going to do this one, but it's going to be very similar to the rest. So that's it. The most important thing here is just finding the LCD. If you can find the LCD, this shouldn't be too bad.